What if I told you that the most dangerous moment for your brain might not happen while you're driving, not while you're exercising, not even during a stressful argument, but while you are peacefully asleep? Every night, you close your eyes, believing your body is resting, recovering, healing. And for the most part, it is. But here's something many people don't realize. A significant number of strokes happen during sleep. The person goes to bed feeling completely fine and wakes up unable to move an arm, struggling to speak, or feeling sudden confusion. No warning, no pain, just damage that has already been done. Now, here's the part that may surprise you even more. Doctors are beginning to pay closer attention to something incredibly ordinary: sleeping position. The way you rest your head, the angle of your neck, whether you sleep flat on your back, twisted slightly, or with your chin pressed toward your chest. For most healthy people, it may not matter much. But for individuals over 50, for those with high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, or even undiagnosed sleep apnea, that comfortable position could quietly increase vulnerability during the night. During sleep, your blood pressure changes. Your oxygen levels fluctuate. Your heart rhythm slows and shifts through different stages. If breathing becomes partially blocked, even briefly, oxygen can dip. When that happens, your body reacts with sudden spikes in blood pressure. If arteries are already narrowed or stiff, those spikes can strain fragile blood vessels. Add poor neck alignment or restricted blood flow, and the risk picture becomes more complicated. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Because most people focus on what they eat, how much they walk, what medications they take, but almost no one thinks about how they sleep. And yet sleep is 1/3 of your life. That's thousands of hours each year where your cardiovascular system is working quietly in the background. In this discussion, we're going to break down what actually happens inside your body at night, which positions may be safer for certain people, and what simple adjustments could reduce risk without disrupting your comfort. If you or someone you love has cardiovascular risk factors, this may be information worth knowing before you lay your head on the pillow tonight. Most people associate a stroke with something dramatic that happens during the day while driving, working, or walking across the room. What many do not realize is that a significant number of strokes actually occur during sleep. These are often referred to as wake-up strokes because the person goes to bed feeling normal and wakes up with symptoms already in progress. This makes nighttime especially concerning because there are no immediate warning signs and no opportunity to seek help the moment something begins. Understanding what happens inside the body during sleep is essential to understanding why certain positions may increase risk in vulnerable individuals. Sleep is not a passive state. Throughout the night, the body cycles through different sleep stages, and each stage affects heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure. During deeper stages of sleep, blood pressure typically drops. This natural drop is healthy for most people and gives the cardiovascular system a chance to rest. However, in individuals whose arteries are already narrowed due to plaque buildup, high blood pressure, or aging, this drop can sometimes reduce blood flow to certain areas of the brain. If circulation is already compromised, even a temporary reduction may create a vulnerable situation. Body position can influence how well blood and oxygen circulate during these hours. When someone sleeps flat on their back, gravity can affect the airway, particularly in individuals who snore or have undiagnosed sleep apnea. In this position, the tongue and soft tissues of the throat may relax backward, partially blocking airflow. Even brief interruptions in breathing can lower oxygen levels. When oxygen drops, the body responds with stress hormones that cause sudden increases in heart rate and blood pressure. These repeated spikes throughout the night place strain on blood vessels and may contribute to clot formation in those who are already at risk. Neck alignment is another overlooked factor. The major arteries that supply blood to the brain pass through the neck. If the neck is bent too far forward, extended too far backward, or twisted sharply for long periods, blood flow may be subtly restricted. In healthy younger individuals, this is usually not dangerous. But in older adults or those with arterial narrowing, even minor mechanical pressure combined with nighttime blood pressure fluctuations could increase vulnerability. Additionally, the body's natural clotting tendency may be slightly higher in the early morning hours. Blood can become somewhat thicker during sleep due to mild dehydration and slower circulation. When this natural tendency toward clotting overlaps with unstable blood pressure, reduced oxygen, or restricted blood flow from poor positioning, the risk environment becomes more complex. It is important to understand that no single sleeping position automatically causes a stroke. The concern arises when body position interacts with existing cardiovascular risk factors. For someone with healthy arteries and stable blood pressure, the body usually compensates effectively. But for individuals with hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, or sleep-disordered breathing, nighttime posture may become one more variable influencing overall risk. Recognizing how these physiological changes work together helps explain why doctors emphasize awareness rather than panic, and why simple adjustments in sleep habits may offer an added layer of protection for those already vulnerable. When discussing stroke risk during sleep, it is essential to understand that vulnerability does not affect everyone equally. Certain individuals carry underlying conditions that make them more sensitive to nighttime physiological changes. One of the most significant risk factors is high blood pressure. Hypertension gradually damages the inner lining of arteries, causing them to stiffen and narrow over time. When arteries lose flexibility, they cannot adapt as easily to fluctuations in blood pressure that naturally occur during sleep. If blood pressure dips too low or spikes suddenly due to breathing disturbances, compromised vessels may struggle to maintain steady blood flow to the brain. Diabetes is another major contributor. Elevated blood sugar levels over months and years can injure blood vessels and accelerate plaque buildup. This process affects both large and small arteries, reducing their ability to deliver oxygen efficiently. During sleep, when breathing patterns shift and circulation slows, the presence of already damaged vessels increases the risk that reduced oxygen delivery or minor clot formation could become more significant. Diabetes also increases the tendency for blood to clot more readily, adding another layer of vulnerability. Sleep apnea deserves particular attention. Many people are unaware they have it. This condition causes repeated pauses in breathing throughout the night. Each pause may last only seconds, but the impact is cumulative. Oxygen levels drop, the brain senses distress, and the body releases stress hormones to stimulate breathing again. These hormonal surges trigger rapid increases in heart rate and blood pressure. Over time, this repeated cycle strains the cardiovascular system. When combined with sleeping flat on the back, which can worsen airway obstruction, the effects become more pronounced. Age is also a powerful factor. As people grow older, arterial walls naturally lose elasticity. Even without diagnosed disease, aging alone reduces the margin of safety when circulation fluctuates. Older adults are more likely to have silent atherosclerosis, where plaque buildup narrows arteries without obvious symptoms. In such cases, minor changes in neck position, oxygen levels, or blood pressure during sleep may have greater consequences than they would in younger individuals. High cholesterol further compounds the issue. Excess cholesterol contributes to plaque formation inside arteries, narrowing the pathways through which blood must travel. Narrowed arteries mean that any temporary reduction in blood flow, whether from blood pressure dips or mechanical compression from awkward neck positioning, has less room for compensation. Smoking history also leaves lasting damage to blood vessels, even years after quitting. Medication timing can play a role as well. Some blood pressure medications are designed to lower nighttime readings. In certain individuals, this may result in excessive drops while asleep. Others may experience inadequate control during the night, leading to elevated pressures when the body should be resting. The interaction between medication, underlying disease, and sleeping posture creates a complex but important picture. The key point is that sleeping position alone is rarely the sole cause of a problem. It becomes significant when layered on top of pre-existing cardiovascular risk factors. Understanding who falls into higher risk categories allows individuals and their physicians to make informed decisions about sleep habits, monitoring, and preventive strategies, rather than assuming that nighttime is automatically a period of safety. To fully understand why nighttime can be a vulnerable period for the brain, it helps to look closely at what actually happens inside the body while we sleep. Sleep is an active biological process made up of repeating cycles. As we move through light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, our cardiovascular and respiratory systems continuously adjust. Heart rate slows, blood pressure shifts, breathing patterns change, and the nervous system alternates between calm and brief activation. These fluctuations are normal, but in certain individuals, they may create moments of instability. During deep sleep, blood pressure typically falls in what doctors call nocturnal dipping. For healthy individuals, this is beneficial because it allows the heart and blood vessels to rest. However, if someone already has narrowed arteries due to plaque buildup, a significant drop in pressure could reduce blood flow to areas of the brain that are already receiving marginal circulation. In contrast, some individuals do not experience normal dipping at all. Their blood pressure remains elevated through the night, which can increase strain on vessel walls and raise the likelihood of clot formation. Both extremes, excessive dipping or persistent elevation, can contribute to risk. Breathing also plays a central role. When a person sleeps flat on their back, gravity may cause the tongue and soft tissues of the throat to relax backward. In people prone to snoring or sleep apnea, this can partially obstruct the airway. Even brief interruptions in airflow lower oxygen levels in the blood. The brain detects this drop and triggers a stress response. Adrenaline and other stress hormones are released, causing blood pressure and heart rate to spike suddenly. These repeated surges, occurring dozens of times per hour in severe sleep apnea, place continuous stress on blood vessels and may destabilize existing plaque within arteries. Neck position is another important element. The carotid and vertebral arteries that supply blood to the brain travel through the neck. If the neck is sharply flexed forward, extended too far backward, or twisted for prolonged periods, these arteries can experience subtle mechanical compression. In young and healthy individuals, the body compensates easily, but in older adults or those with arterial narrowing, even mild reductions in flow may become more significant when combined with blood pressure fluctuations and oxygen changes. There is also evidence that the body's natural clotting tendency increases slightly in the early morning hours. Blood may become somewhat thicker overnight due to mild dehydration and reduced movement. Slower circulation during sleep can further contribute to this effect. If clotting factors are elevated while oxygen levels are unstable and blood pressure is fluctuating, conditions may become more favorable for a clot to form and block a narrowed artery. Taken together, these physiological processes illustrate why sleep is not simply a period of inactivity. It is a dynamic state in which multiple systems interact continuously. For individuals with healthy cardiovascular systems, these nightly changes are managed without issue. But for those with underlying risk factors, the combination of altered breathing, blood pressure shifts, arterial narrowing, and mechanical positioning may create a more delicate balance that deserves careful attention. Once you understand how sleep affects circulation, breathing, and blood pressure, the next logical question becomes practical. What can be done to reduce risk without creating anxiety or disrupting rest? The goal is not to fear sleep, but to make it safer and more supportive of overall cardiovascular health. Small, thoughtful adjustments can make a meaningful difference, especially for individuals with existing risk factors. One of the simplest steps is becoming aware of your usual sleeping position. Many people fall asleep in one posture but shift unconsciously during the night. If you tend to sleep flat on your back and have been told that you snore loudly or occasionally gasp in your sleep, this may be worth discussing with a healthcare provider. Side sleeping, particularly on the left side for many individuals, can help keep the airway more open and reduce the likelihood of breathing interruptions. While no single position guarantees protection, reducing airway obstruction may lower nighttime oxygen fluctuations and blood pressure spikes. Neck alignment is equally important. A pillow that is too high can force the chin toward the chest, while a pillow that is too flat may allow the head to tilt backward unnaturally. Both extremes can strain the neck and potentially affect blood flow through the arteries that supply the brain. The ideal position keeps the spine neutral, with the head aligned comfortably over the shoulders. Investing in a supportive pillow designed to maintain alignment can be a simple but effective preventive measure. Blood pressure control remains one of the strongest protective strategies. If you are being treated for hypertension, ask your physician whether your readings are stable throughout the night. In some cases, a 24-hour ambulatory blood pressure monitor can provide insight into how your body responds during sleep. Adjusting medication timing may help prevent excessive drops or spikes. Similarly, maintaining steady blood sugar levels in individuals with diabetes reduces long-term vascular damage and supports more stable circulation during sleep. Addressing sleep apnea is critical. If you experience chronic snoring, daytime fatigue, or morning headaches, a sleep study may be appropriate. Continuous positive airway pressure therapy, when prescribed, has been shown to reduce nighttime blood pressure fluctuations and improve oxygen levels. Treating sleep apnea does not only improve sleep quality, but may also reduce stroke risk over time. Hydration and lifestyle factors also contribute. Mild dehydration overnight can thicken the blood slightly, so maintaining adequate fluid intake during the day supports healthier circulation. Regular physical activity strengthens the cardiovascular system and improves vascular flexibility, making the body more resilient to nighttime changes. Weight management further reduces strain on both the heart and airway. Creating a consistent sleep schedule helps regulate the body's natural rhythms. Going to bed and waking at similar times each day stabilizes hormonal patterns that influence blood pressure and heart rate. A comfortable sleep environment, supportive mattress, moderate room temperature, minimal disruptions encourages deeper, more stable sleep cycles. Most importantly, individuals with prior transient ischemic attacks, strokes, or multiple cardiovascular risk factors should discuss sleep habits openly with their healthcare provider. Personalized guidance based on medical history offers the safest path forward. When sleep is approached as an active component of health rather than a passive routine, it becomes an opportunity to protect the brain rather than unknowingly place it under strain. Beyond position, posture, and medical conditions, there is a broader mindset that often gets overlooked when discussing stroke prevention during sleep. Many people think of risk as something dramatic and immediate, a sudden event triggered by a single mistake. In reality, stroke risk is usually cumulative. It builds quietly over years through patterns, habits, and small daily choices. Sleep is one of those patterns. It happens every night, and because it feels automatic, it rarely receives the same attention as diet or exercise. Yet 1/3 of your life is spent in this state, making it a powerful influence on long-term vascular health. Consistency plays a significant role. Irregular sleep schedules can disrupt the body's internal clock, also known as the circadian rhythm. This rhythm regulates hormones that influence blood pressure, heart rate, and inflammation. When sleep timing varies widely, staying up very late some nights and sleeping early on others, these regulatory systems may become less stable. Over time, disrupted circadian patterns have been associated with higher blood pressure, impaired glucose control, and increased inflammation, all of which contribute to stroke risk. Establishing a steady sleep routine helps maintain cardiovascular balance during the night. Stress management is another critical factor. Chronic stress keeps the body in a heightened state of alertness, with elevated levels of cortisol and adrenaline. Even during sleep, individuals under persistent stress may experience lighter, more fragmented rest with subtle increases in nighttime blood pressure. Relaxation techniques before bed, such as slow breathing, gentle stretching, or reducing screen exposure, may support deeper, more stable sleep cycles. The calmer the nervous system is before sleep, the less likely it is to trigger unnecessary fluctuations during the night. Alcohol and heavy evening meals can also influence nighttime risk. Alcohol may initially cause drowsiness, but can disrupt breathing patterns and reduce oxygen stability later in the night. Large meals close to bedtime can increase reflux and discomfort, affecting posture and breathing quality. Both factors can indirectly contribute to disturbed sleep and cardiovascular strain. Moderation and timing awareness reduce these potential triggers. Medication adherence remains essential. Missing doses of blood pressure medication, cholesterol-lowering drugs, or anticoagulants can create instability that extends into the nighttime hours. Taking medications as prescribed ensures that protective effects continue while you sleep. For individuals on blood thinners, regular follow-up appointments and monitoring maintain the appropriate balance between clot prevention and safety. Recognizing early warning signs of stroke also provides an additional layer of protection. Symptoms such as sudden weakness on one side of the body, facial drooping, difficulty speaking, vision changes, or severe unexplained headache require immediate medical attention. While these may not be preventable in every case, rapid response significantly improves outcomes. Educating family members about these signs ensures that if something occurs overnight, help is sought without delay. Ultimately, reducing stroke risk during sleep is not about perfection. It is about awareness and gradual improvement. Optimizing sleep position, managing chronic conditions, maintaining consistency, reducing stress, and supporting overall cardiovascular health. Create a protective network rather than relying on a single solution. When sleep is treated as an active investment in brain health, it becomes part of a comprehensive prevention strategy that works quietly, night after night, supporting the body rather than placing it at risk. As you can see, this is not about fear, and it is not about obsessing over every movement you make in your sleep. It is about understanding that your body continues working for you long after you close your eyes. Blood pressure shifts, oxygen levels rise and fall, your heart adjusts. Your brain depends on steady, uninterrupted circulation through it all. For most people, sleep is safe and restorative. But if you carry risk factors like high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, or a history of vascular disease, then small details, including how you sleep, deserve thoughtful attention. The encouraging truth is that many of these risks are manageable. Adjusting your sleeping position, improving neck alignment, treating sleep apnea, stabilizing blood pressure, staying consistent with medication, and maintaining healthy daily habits can all work together to lower overall vulnerability. You do not need to panic about going to bed tonight. Instead, let this information empower you. Pay attention to your body. Have open conversations with your healthcare provider. Make gradual improvements where needed. Stroke prevention is rarely about one dramatic change. It is about steady, informed decisions made over time. Sleep should be a place of recovery, not uncertainty. When you approach it with awareness and care, you turn something ordinary into something protective. And that quiet protection, repeated night after night, can make a meaningful difference in safeguarding your brain and your future.